Good morning, girls. I will continue with the Duchess of Malfi, and we had finished Act 1. So I will continue with Act 2. All right. So let us continue with Act 2. This is the first scene. Although I had said something about the first scene to you, but still, let me just recap it. That first thing we notice in this scene 1 is that Bosola is talking to Castruccio, and Castruccio wants to be a courtier, and Bosola is giving him advice on how to be a courtier. He is saying that all you have to do is, I would have you learn to twirl the strings of your band with a good grace, like doing this with a good grace, and in a set speech at the end of every sentence to hum 3 or 4 times. It's like saying like this, doing 3 or 4 times at the end of every sentence. That's what a courtier does. And then blow your nose till it's smart again, okay, to recover your memory. When you come to be a precedent in criminal causes, if you smile upon a prisoner, hang him, all right? But if you frown upon him and threaten him, then let him be sure to escape the gallows. Okay, so these are the adjuncts of a courtier. These are the qualifiers of a courtier that makes a courtier an important person. Okay, so this is how Bosola advises Castruccio to become a courtier. That is, to be a courtier, you don't have to be what you appear to be. You have to be bit duplicitous. You have to practice a little bit of duplicity, and you have to put on an air of importance. Okay. Now, then Castruccio says, I would be a merry precedent. Bosola says, do not sup at nights, 'twill beget you an admirable wit. All right. After this, there comes the a trifling discussion on how a lady in France who had smallpox had taken off the skin of her face. What do ladies do? Old ladies do, or what do ladies do to remain beautiful? She had taken off the skin of her face to make it look more level. And Bosola says that earlier she was looking like a nutmeg grater. Later, after taking off the skin, she looked like an abortive hedgehog. So these are the imageries that Bosola uses to compare people to different animals. All right. So this is when Bosola is talking to an old lady. Now the old lady asks that what would you say about a woman's closet or wardrobe? She's talking about an old lady's closet, and this is what Bosola has to say on old lady's wardrobe. One would suspect it for a shop of witchcraft, to find in it the fat of serpents, spawn of snakes, Jews' spittle, and their young children's ordure, and all these for the face. I would sooner eat a dead pigeon taken from the soles of the feet of one sick of the plague than kiss one of you fasting. Here are 2 of you whose sin of your youth is the very patrimony of the physician, makes him renew his footcloth with the spring, and change his high-priced courtesan with the fall of leaf. Okay. Actually, Bosola here is making a satiric attack on on the wardrobe of a lady, and says that, and here again he is using animal imageries, okay, that is fat of serpents, spawn of snakes, juice spittle, young children's ordure. I would rather eat a dead pigeon from the soles of feet of one sick of plague. You see, what I want to point out is that Bosola talks in terms of animal imageries. Everything he compares to animals, and this is what is symbolic. Bosola's speeches are symbolic of the rottenness, the deadness, and the corruption of the Italian court. Then Bosola goes on to later to make a satiric attack on lawyers, women, and cosmetics, and finally to a fundamental critique of the human condition. Okay, what does he say? That this is what he says about man. We observe my meditation now. What thing is in this outward form of man to be beloved? What is there to love in a man? What is so great about a man? We account it ominous if nature do produce a colt or lamb or fawn or goat in any limb resembling a man, and fly from it as a prodigy. Man stands amazed to see his deformity in any other creature but himself. But in our own flesh, though we bear diseases which have their true names only taken from beasts, as the most ulcerous wolf and swinish measle, though we are eaten up of lice and worms, and though continually we bear about us a rotten and dead body, we delight to hide it in rich tissue. All our fear, nay, all our terror is lest our physician should put us in the ground to be made sweet. So what he also says, human beings, they look upon other animals, look down upon other animals firstly. Secondly, if there is any defect in any other animal, then human beings will either kill that animal or look down upon that animal. But a human being, if he himself has the most ulcerous wolf or the most swinish measle or eaten up of lice and worms, even then the human being will dress himself up in beautiful clothes and in beautiful rich tissue, and will worship himself. So this is the hypocrisy of the human race. And then so this is again where Bosola is using animal imagery to describe human beings. This is a direct use of animal imagery to describe human beings. So here the relation between Cardinal and Ferdinand's animalism is gradually established through Bosola's speeches on human beings and similarity to animals. And then Castruccio and the old lady exit, and Bosola expresses his doubt that the Duchess nowadays is puking, and her stomach has swelled up, and the fins of her eyelids look more steaming blue, and she wears a loose-bodied gown. So possibly something is wrong with the Duchess. And then there is a conversation between Antonio and Delio, where Antonio is telling Delio that she should not speak about anything at all. Antonio is silencing Delio, and Bosola here comes in and says, "Oh sir, the opinion of wisdom is a foul tetter that runs all over a man's body. if simplicity directs us to have no evil, it directs us to a happy being. For the subtlest folly proceeds from the subtlest wisdom. Now, this is actually uh, uh, the source is Montaigne's essays in the 17th century. It says the opinion of wisdom is the plague of man, whence proceeds the subtlest folly, but from that subtlest wisdom. That is, from wisdom, a man who is too wise actually gives in to subtlest folly, actually gives into folly. So Bosola here is giving a warning tone to Antonio that maybe he has been very foolish. And Antonio says, because you would not seem to appear to the world puffed up with your preferment, you continue this out of fashion melancholy. Leave it, leave it. So Bosola puts on a garb of melancholy and constantly gives these comments upon people and upon compares human beings to animals, or talks about these philosophical. This is a philosophical, observation that Bosola makes, that from wisdom proceeds folly, and Antonio asks him to stop being so melancholic. Okay, so here ends the first section.